Whoa. Easy, big boy.
Right. Welcome to the opening night of Rick Melick's Tracing the Roots of the Blues. Before we applaud Rick, he's already on stage, he's beaten me to it. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet tonight and pay respect to their elders past and present. Now, tonight, Rick will be performing 2 sets. He'll have a very, very quick break in between because we need to finish early this evening, being a Thursday, and it's a school night, and we know that you'll want to go home. During the break or after he has finished, he also has brought along some CDs. If anybody is interested in purchasing something, that would be lovely. This is the first of 4 events that Rick will be doing whilst here in Adelaide. Tomorrow night he's at the Semaphore Workers Club with the Fallen Saints. Saturday night he's upstairs in the balcony bar at the Gulf on his own again. And Sunday afternoon up at Macclesfield at the Three Brothers Arms in the bar, so it'll be lovely and cosy there by the open fire. Anyway, that's enough from me. I don't need to tell you who he is. You all know that. Would you all please put your hands together for the fabulous Rick Melick.
Thanks for coming out, firstly. It's never lost on me. In the 1920s, there was a gentleman called Blind Willie Johnson who arguably made the most important record the blues has ever known, and this was because by the time it got to the 1960s, he was on a compilation record called American Folk Music Anthology. And that record fell into the hands, made its way across the Atlantic and fell into the hands of people like Eric Clapton and Led Zeppelin and John Mayall and others. And they recorded several of those songs that Blind Willie Johnson had recorded so long ago, 40 years previously. And that became the British invasion. They sold those songs back to white America, who couldn't stomach it coming from black America, but they could take it coming from white boys in England. And I'm going to play 2 of those songs now. Won't somebody tell me, answer me if you can, if anybody here can tell me what is the soul of man? I'm going to ask the question, so answer me if you can, if anybody here can tell me what is the soul of a man? what is the soul of a man? I've traveled foreign countries, I've traveled different lanes. I found nobody can tell me what is the soul of a man. So won't somebody tell me, answer me if you can. If anybody here can tell me what is the soul of a man. I'm going to ask the question, answer me if you can. If anybody here can tell me what is the soul of a man. What is the soul of a man? I saw a crowd stand talking. I came up right on time. We're hearing the doctor and the lawyer saying that a man ain't nothing but his mind. He ain't nothing but his mind. I try to read the Bible and I try to read it right. As far as I can understand, a man is more than his mind. When Christ stood on the temple, the people stood amazed, showing the doctor and the lawyer how to raise a body from the grave. How to raise a body from the grave. So won't somebody tell me, answer me if you can. If anybody here can tell me what is the soul of a man. I'm going to ask the question, answer if you can. If anybody here can tell me what is the soul of a man. What is the soul of a man? What is the soul of a man? What is the soul of a man? What is the soul? What is the soul of a man? Now, Willie Johnson was also a preacher, a very religious man, unlike me. And he wrote a song called John the Revelator. Now, John, as far as I can understand, being an atheist, was the guy who wrote the book of Revelations. And in the book of Revelations, it was about the miracles that Jesus performed, allegedly. He turned water into wine. He healed the paralytic and the blind. He fed the 5,000. He walked on water. He raised Lazarus, and some say that the 8th revelation would be rolling back the stone and ascending to heaven. And blind Willie Johnson wrote this song also called John the Revelator. Who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? He wrote the book of the 7 seas. I said, who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? He wrote the book of the 7 seas. Down in the cool of the day, called Adam by his name, but he refused to answer. He was naked and ashamed. Who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? He wrote the book of the 7 seas. Christ had 12 apostles, 3 he led away. He said, watch over me one now while I go yonder and pray. Tell me, who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? He wrote the book of the seven seals. Christ came down on Easter morning. Mary and Martha came down to see. He said, go tell my disciples to meet me down in Galilee. Let me ask you now, well, who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? He wrote the book of the seven seals. God walked down in the cool of the day, called Adam by his name. He refused to answer, he was naked and ashamed. Who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? He wrote the book of the seven seals. I said, who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? Who's that riding John the Revelator? He wrote the book of the seven seals. He wrote the book of the seven seals. Well, thank you so much. I haven't got much time, so I'm going to keep the stories a little bit brief and possibly play things twice as fast as they should be. Which brings us to Robert Johnson, of course, a member of the 27 Club. Died at 27 under very controversial circumstances. Nobody still knows why. He wrote, amongst other things, Going Down to the Crossroad and Sweet Home Chicago. But this, for me, is my favorite Robert Johnson song. You better come on in my kitchen, because it is going to be raining outdoors. When a woman in trouble, everybody throws her down. Looking for your good friend, ain't none to be found. You better come on in my kitchen, because it is going to be raining outdoors. The woman I love, the woman I crave to see. Somebody took her up the country, she won't even write a letter to me. You better come on in my kitchen, because it is going to be raining outdoors. Mama, can't you hear the wind howling? Can't you hear the wind howling at my back door? You better come on in my kitchen, because it is going to be raining outdoors. The woman I love, the woman I crave to see, she gone up the country, won't even write a letter to me. You better come on in my kitchen, because it is going to be raining outdoors. I went to the mountain far as my eyes could see. Some other man got my girl, Lonesome Blues got a hold of me. You better come on in my kitchen, because it is going to be raining outdoors. My mama dead, my papa might well be. Ain't got nobody to love and care for me. You better come on in my kitchen, because it is going to be raining. It's gonna be raining outdoors. It's gonna be raining. It's gonna be raining. It's gonna be raining. Another person that died under very curious circumstances was Sam Cooke, of course. Shotgun blast to the chest pretty much gets it done. But there is one Sam Cooke record that very few people have heard, curiously. It's called Nightbeat. And I play with a beautiful blues guitar player from the US called Chris Kane. And not so long ago, he was staying at my house. We had some gigs together. And he turned me onto this record. And this is a beautiful song called Fool's Paradise. I often think about the life I've led. It's a wonder that I ain't dead. Drinking and gambling and staying out all night. Living in a fool's paradise. My mother told me, my father told me too. Said, child is gonna all catch up with you. Drinking and gambling, staying out all night. Living in a fool's paradise. Though I've learned my lesson well through all the fools I've met, I've learned some things in this life that I haven't forgotten yet. My father told me, but my mother said it right. Said, son, you're gonna be ruining your life. Drinking and a gambling and a staying out all night. Living in a fool's paradise. I've learned my lesson well through all the fools I met. There's some things in this life that I haven't forgotten yet. My father told me, my mother said it right. Son, you're gonna be ruining your life. Drinking and a gambling and a staying out all night. Living in a fool's paradise. Living in a fool's paradise. Wonderful Sam Cooke. Thank you very much. Mr. Gwyn Ashton is here tonight. If you've never heard Gwyn play, you're in for a real treat. Come join me, Gwyn. We met many years ago. We're trying to be remembering when, but of course, that's a beautiful thing about history. It's different for everybody. We all remember what we can remember. I think it was Genoa in Italy, and Gwyn thinks it might have been Sweden. And, you know, who am I to argue? I don't know. My memory's addled anyway. Oh, this thing's dry. Here's a Charles Brown song. Charles Brown was resurrected by Bonnie Raitt. He was married to one Ruth Brown, who was also taken on that tour late in their life with Bonnie Raitt. And Charles Brown had many hits on his own. He played in somebody else's trio, but he was always a singer and the piano player. And this, I just love this song, and it comes from a very special album from Charles Brown. My love is deep, deep as the bottom of the ocean, true as a newborn baby, hot as a rising sun, and that's a mighty good love, and that's a mighty good love. I said, baby, my love will last as there's a life in my body. I swear to you on the Bible, any old time you say that's a mighty good love, that's a mighty good love. I said, baby, come on home, I wanna put my arms around you, squeeze you till I call for mercy, 'cause that's the way I feel about you, and that's a mighty good love, that's a mighty good love, that's a mighty good love, that's a mighty good love. 'Cause there ain't nobody love you like I do. Honey, you know just what to do. Ain't much to look at, ain't gonna win a prize when it comes to making love. Now I can open your eyes. I said, baby, I love you so, I do. You got me begging and pleading. Your love is all that I need. Oh, there's nothing I wouldn't do, and it's a mighty big love. That's a mighty big love. That's a mighty big love. That's a mighty, baby, my love is deep, and deep as the bottom of the ocean too, as a newborn baby, hot as a rising sun. Baby, my love will last as long as there's life in my body. I'll swear to you on the Bible, any old time you say. Baby, please come on home. I wanna put my arms around you, squeeze you till I call for mercy. That's the way I feel about you. nobody love you like I do. Honey, I know just what to do. Ain't much to look at. Ain't gonna win a prize when it comes to winning love. I will open your eyes. And baby, I love you so. You got me begging and pleading. Your love is all that I'm needing. There's nothing I wouldn't do, and that's a mighty good love. That's a mighty good love. That's a mighty big love. That's a mighty good love, that is. That's a mighty big love. That's a mighty good love. Next one in E. Thank you, Gwen. This next song, although I don't wish to take myself down to being a bar band, is an important song for me. May the 4th, 2009, I was lucky enough to play with my boss at the time, the Royal Albert Hall. But you go back about 18 months before that, we were playing the Formula One after party in Bahrain, and there were, try to keep the story short, although it isn't. And there was several luminaries in the room. I think the nominal bank account for entry to that party was probably $100 million with the exception of the band. Nick Mason, the drummer from Pink Floyd, was there, and all the drivers were there. Lewis Hamilton, who offered to teach Joe to drive if he wanted to give him guitar lessons because he likes to play a little guitar. Shame he didn't play piano. I'd take driving lessons all day long from Lewis Hamilton. And Eric Clapton was also there, and it wasn't our finest moment. We were playing on rented back line, and it was a really tough gig. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong. But Joe eventually sent an email to Eric Clapton when we had a date surrendered to us from Dire Straits from Mark Knopfler for the Royal Albert Hall. And he asked Eric if he would be good enough to come and play with us, and about 6 or 8 months went by. This is driving me nuts. And Joe got an email, and so a very anonymous email which he almost trashed, and it was Eric saying, "Yes, I'll join you," and it put my boss, Mr. Bonamassa, on the road to superstardom. See how I go without a sustain pedal. And so we set up that day in the Albert Hall, and Joe had everything riding on this one particular show, a 10-camera shoot, and all the money he had left in the bank, which was $250,000. And so we set up in the Albert Hall, 2 drummers, a brass section. It was a fantastic show. Very lucky that we pulled it off. But during sound check, I had my head under my Hammond organ, adjusting a pedal or two, and this couple of notes from a Stratocaster and an amp came out that didn't sound at all like the guitar tech who was previously playing that rig. And the hairs on my neck stood up, and there was Mr. Clapton. And so I got to play this song, which is not my favourite Clapton song, but certainly one I got to play with him. Further on up the road, somebody gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on up the road, I'm see. Somebody, you gotta reap just what you sow. That old saying is true. You gotta reap just what you sow. That old saying is true. Just like you mistreat me, somebody gonna mistreat you. You've been laughing pretty, baby. Someday you're gonna be crying. You're gonna be laughing pretty, baby. Someday you're gonna be crying. Further on of the road, you'll find out I was lying. You've been laughing pretty, baby. Pretty soon you're gonna be the one that's crying. I've been laughing pretty, baby. Pretty soon you're gonna be crying. Further on of the road, you'll find out I was lying. Further on of the road, somebody gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on of the road, somebody gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on of the road, you'll find out, you're gonna see. Mr. Gwyn Ashton, hopefully you won't get bored with all my bullshit and come and play another couple in a minute. I was lucky enough to come from a musical family, and my dad played beautiful stride piano. And my uncles were very fortunate enough to play in silent movies. One played the violin, one played the saxophone. By the time my father's musical education came around, being the youngest of the 4 kids, he had to teach himself. And the way he taught himself, he was a fantastic stride piano player, which is... of style, and he would pedal the pianola, and if he came across a chord, learning standards, if he came across a chord, he would stop the pianola, and because they'd press the keys on the piano, and he'd learn the chord and carry on. And he became a professional piano player until he was about 40. My mother put a stop to that because she wasn't a cheap date. Do not understand, but there we go. And this is another song that Bessie Smith and Eric have both covered in their time, and it's a good example of a stride piano player, if I can get around it without a pedal. Once I lived the life of a millionaire. Spent all my money, I just did not care. I took my friends out for a real good time. I bought them bootleg of whiskey, champagne and wine. And then I began to sing solo. Lost all my money, had nowhere to go. If I get my hands on a dollar again, I'm gonna hang on to it till legal grins, because nobody knows you when you're down and out. In your pocket you haven't got one penny, and as for friends you don't have any. But when I finally get back on my feet again, everybody wants to be your long lost friend. I said, mighty strange, without a doubt. Nobody gonna know you when you're down and out. Then I began to sing solo. Spent all my money, I had nowhere to go. When I get my hands on a dollar again, I'm gonna hang on to it till the eagle grins, because nobody knows you when you're down and out. In your pocket you haven't got one penny, and as for friends you don't have any. But when I finally get back on my feet again, everybody wants to be your long lost friend. Mighty strange, without a doubt. Nobody knows you. Nobody knows you. Nobody knows you when you're down and That's hard work without a pedal, but it's what you get with fly dates. I'm going to finish with a John Hyatt song, finish this set with a John Hyatt song. I think I've got enough time for one more. And I had the pleasure of playing with John Hyatt in New York City. This isn't one of the songs we played, but he's the most beautiful songwriter in all kinds of genres. He's writing Americana and folk and blues, and he crosses over into rock. And always the lyrics are so intelligent. And this song fits very well in with my blues repertoire, because it's about racism and getting shafted. You gotta lift up every stone. Now, sister, gotta lift up every stone. Now, sister, gotta lift up every stone. Now, sister, gotta clear this field and build that wall. He was the prince of the county to the man of bone. The sheets were bloody and dirty and torn. Nobody saw nothing, not out this way, and they probably won't until Judgment Day. You gotta lift up every stone. Now, sister, gotta lift up every stone. Now, sister, lift up every stone. Now, sister, gotta clear this field and build that wall. There was a mighty whispering down at the church about the son of the father of the woman who got hurt. They were looking all over for someone to pay, and that's you and me, sister, until Judgment Day. Lift up every stone. Now, sister, sister, gotta lift up every stone. Now, sister, you gotta lift up every stone. Now, sister, gotta clear this field and build that wall. Now, when the sun is bloody red, when it's gone, somebody be dead. Don't you cry for me, because I did what I did just to be free. You gotta lift up every stone. Now, sister, cause one is the truth and the other's a lie. You gotta lift up every stone. Now, sister, tear down a wall till they make you cry. You gotta lift up every stone. Now, sister, gotta lift up every stone. Now, sister, you gotta lift up every stone. Now, sister, clear this field and build that wall. You gotta clear the field and build that wall. You can write a tune. Thanks, I'm gonna have a quick 10 minutes. Let me just, what is the time? 8:14. So that'd be right. I better stop now or I won't have a second set. Go have a pee, go get a drink, go have a ciggy, whatever you like to do. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Count them. Thanks, folks. Cheers. My pleasure. right, here we go. Maybe we've fixed my little technical issue. I hope so. Thanks for hanging out, kids. I was lucky enough to record this very song with B.B. King. B.B. King was a mentor to young guitar players, our own Nathan Cavalieri. And he was also a mentor to my old boss, Joe Motomassa. And I got to do a lot of shows with B.B. And, you know, one thing about B.B., as he got older, he would sing, "The thriller's gone away." And then he'd talk about, you know, bollocking old girlfriends for about a half an hour before he got to the next verse. Except when the cameras are rolling, you'd go to the North Sea Jazz Festival or Montreux, and there'd be B.B., and it'd be like he'd be 50 years younger and singing every lyric and playing every note because the cameras were rolling broadcast quality. So he knew when to turn it on. And Joe asked B.B. if he might like to guest on one of his records, and he said yes, of course, because he was a very generous man like that. And Joe said, "How much do you want?" He said, "I don't want anything. But my foundation would like $5,000, please." As he had 22 kids, I'm not sure what the foundation exactly funded, and I'm not suggesting it would be anything other than absolutely upright, but you have to wonder. And here's the song I got to record with B.B. It was a seminal moment for me. When the evening sun goes down, you will find me hanging around, and the nighttime ain't no good life, but it's my life. Yes, it's my life. Many people just like me, dreaming of that all used to be, and the nightlife ain't no good life, but in my life, yes, it's my life. Listen to the blues, listen to the blues that they're playing. Listen to the blues. Listen to what the blues are saying, what the blues are saying. Mine is just another scene from the world of broken dreams, the world of broken dreams, and the nightlife ain't no good life. is just another scene from the world of broken dreams. And the nightlife ain't no good life, but in my life, yes, in my life, yeah, the nightlife ain't no good life, but it's my life, it's my life. Beautiful. Mr. Gwyn Ashton. And a favourite of BB's songs for me is this, and it wasn't just BB, it goes way back to Blind Livin' Jefferson, and lots of people have covered this. See that my grave is kept clean. If there's a one kind favor I'll ask of you, there's just one kind favor I'll ask of you. There's just one kind favor I'll ask of you. See that my grave is kept clean. There's two white horses following me. There's two white horses following me. There are two white horses following me, waiting for my burying ground. Did you ever hear that coffin sound? Did you ever hear that coffin sound? Well, did you ever hear that coffin sound? Means another poor boy gone underground. Ever hear them church bells tone? Did you ever hear them church bells tone? Did you ever hear them church bells tone? Means another poor boy is dead and gone. My heart started beating and my hand turned cold. My heart started beating and my hand turned cold. My old very heart stopped beating and my hand turned cold. I believe what the Bible told. Well, if there's one kind of favor I'll ask of you, there's one kind favor I'll ask of you. There's one kind favor I'll ask of you. See that my grave is kept clean. See that my grave is kept clean. See that my grave is kept clean. Lovely, mates. Want to do one more? In D minor while we're there? Is that where we were? I don't know. Thank you very much. This is a song called Down in Mississippi, which I eventually got from Mavis Staples, of course, from the Staples singers who were, If you disrespect everyone that you run into, those staple singers. And this is a song called Down in Mississippi, which J.B. Lenoir wrote way back in the day. He was from the Mississippi Delta, but he made his way to Chicago and became more Chicago blues, really, than the Mississippi Delta. He worked with Sonny Boy Williams and with Elmore James and Muddy Waters and Memphis Mitty. And he was another one, besides Bessie Smith, who died at 37 in a car crash, which, of course, were a lot more dangerous than they are today. As far back as I can remember, I either had a plow or a hoe. One of those big old 9-foot sacks standing at the old turn road down in Mississippi, down in Mississippi, down in Mississippi where I come from, down in Mississippi where I was born, way down, way, way down. Now I ain't got nothing against Mississippi. It also is the home of my wife. But I count myself a lucky man just to get away with my life. Down in Mississippi, down in Mississippi, down in Mississippi where I was born, down in Mississippi where I come from, way down, way, way down. Now they always had a season on the rabbit. If you shoot them, you went to jail. But season was always open on men, and nobody needed no bail. Down in Mississippi, down in Mississippi, down in Mississippi where I was from, down in Mississippi where I was born, way down, way, way down. Give us some song. Now as far back as I can remember, I either had a plow or a hoe, and I had one of them old 9-foot sacks, and I was waiting at the old turn road down in Mississippi, down in Mississippi, down in Mississippi where I was born, down in Mississippi where I come from, way down, way, way down in Mississippi, down in Mississippi, down in Mississippi where I was born, down in Mississippi where I come from, way down, way, way down, way, way down, way down, way, way down, way down, way, way down, way down, way, way down. Mr. Gwyn Ashton, thank you. Playing way above his pay grade, which tonight is nothing. What can you play? Thank you, mate. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. I'm going to do possibly one or two originals now. This record here, which of course I do have a few copies of, if you should be so inclined as to support Australian music. My brief was to write some simple songs for this record, and this record, as opposed to my first record, which was my divorce record, this record was Look Who I'm Bollocking Now, Check Me Out. And here's a song from that record. Come back home. Come back home. Come back home. You're gonna need a man and then you'll come back home. Well, someday, baby, you will come back home. Someday, baby, you will come back home. Someday, baby, you will come back home. You're gonna need a man and then you'll come back home. Well, one day, baby, you will understand. One day, baby, you will understand. One day, baby, you will need a man. You're gonna need a man and then you'll come back home. So someday, baby, you will come back home. Someday, baby, you will come back home. Someday, baby, you will come back home. You're gonna need a man and then you'll come back home. Well, I won't be begging and beating at the door. I won't be begging and pleading at the door. You won't see me begging and clutching at straws. 'Cause one day, baby, you'll be back for more. I'll drive you to the station if you leave. I'll drive you to the station if you really wanna leave. I'll drive you to the station. Carry your bags. Right now you're looking good, but baby, you'll be back in rags. Down, mama, take it easy when you leave. Drop down, mama, take it easy when you leave. Drop down, mama, take it easy when you go. And when you're coming back, will you just let me know? Because someday, baby, you will come back home. Someday, baby, you will come back home. Someday, baby, you will come back home. You're gonna need a man. You're gonna need a man, and then you'll come back home. One day, baby, you will come home. You come back home. Need a man. Gonna need a man, and then you'll come back home. Well, come back home. Come back home. Come back. and come back home. You're gonna need a man and then you come back home. Thank you. I have a hard finish at 9 o'clock, which gives me one more song, so I'm going to go maybe a little further down the track here. And I just love this song. It was said when the light shone in the cell of your window, I mean, what were you doing in a cell unless you're a bad boy or girl, that you're coming up for parole. And the light belonged to a train, and the train was called a Midnight Special. And there have been so many different versions of this, but Sam Collins in 1929 started it actually a little before. Leadbelly recorded it in 1934. And I am enamored with New Orleans piano players. Dr. John and Professor Longhair, Alan Toussaint, and of course lately John Cleary. So here's a little bit of New Orleans, as close as I can get, not being from there. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. I so appreciate it. Thank you very much. When I wake up in the morning, hear the church bell ring, and they march you to the table, see the same old thing. Ain't no food up on the table, ain't no pork up in the pan. But you better not complain, boy. You get in trouble with the men. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a ever-loving light on me. Well, here come Miss Rosie. How in the world did you know? By the way she wears her apron and the clothes that she wore, umbrella on her shoulder, piece of paper in her hand. She come to see the governor. She come to free her man. She come to free her man. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a ever-loving light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a ever-loving light on me. If you ever go to Houston, son, you better do the right. You better not gamble, and you better not find the sheriff gonna get you, and the boys will bring you down. And next thing you know, boy, you're gonna be prison bound. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a ever-loving light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a ever-loving light on me. Shine a light on me. Shine a ever-loving motherfucking light on me. Why, thank you. You've been so lovely. Thanks for coming out on a school night. Cheers. Have a lovely weekend ahead. Thank you. Thank you.